On our website, you can get PDF learning materials for free. Please visit englist.me.
Sulfur.
Also sulfur, a chemical element with the symbol S and atomic number 16, found in many minerals and sulfur compounds, often used in the production of fertilizers, rubber, paper, and other industrial applications.
Examples:
Sulfur dioxide, sulfur mine. The sulfur emissions from the nearby factory caused the rotten egg smell.
Rickety.
Wobbly, unsteady, and likely to collapse.
Examples:
Rickety structure, rickety chair. The old wooden bridge was rickety and swayed with every step.
Coal.
A combustible black or brownish-black sedimentary rock that is found below the ground and burnt to produce heat.
Examples:
A coal-fired ship. Construction of new coal plants. We combust coal and other fossil fuels to generate electricity.
Pit.
A hole in the ground or a cavity in a surface, a place for storing or holding something, a section of a theater or sports arena where people can sit.
Examples:
The bottomless pit. The pit of the stomach. The pit of the avocado can be removed by gently wedging a spoon around it.
Hell.
The place thought to be where bad people go and are punished after death, often depicted as being located beneath the earth, an extraordinarily unpleasant or difficult place.
Examples:
Run like hell. Hell broke loose. The battlefield became hell on earth.
Infernal.
Relating to hell or the underworld, characterized by evil or wickedness, extremely unpleasant or irritating.
Examples:
Infernal headache. Infernal noise. The infernal heat wave made it difficult to sleep at night.
Economy.
The system by which a country or region produces, manages, and distributes goods and services, including the money and finances involved in these activities, of an airline, the lowest priced, most basic option for seating in commercial travel.
Examples:
Economy of scale. Economy class. The economy of the country is struggling due to the recent political instability.
Livelihood.
A means of earning money people need to pay for food, a place to live, clothing, etc.
Examples:
A means of livelihood. Livelihood assistance. I could no longer earn my own livelihood.
Communal.
Belonging to or used by a group rather than individuals, for common use.
Examples:
Communal swimming pool. Communal combination of funds. Communal elections were held in several European countries.
Ash.
The powdery residue left after the burning of a substance, typically containing minerals and other impurities. The solid remains of a dead person after cremation.
Examples:
Ash tree, soda ash. The volcanic ash covered the island after the eruption.
Belch.
To expel air from the stomach through the mouth with a noisy or offensive sound, typically as a result of swallowing air or because of indigestion.
Examples:
Belch chemical waste into the atmosphere. Belch loudly. The bubbling mud in the hot spring occasionally belch up a foul odor.
Critic.
Someone who expresses opinions about the quality of books, music, etc.
Examples:
Art critic, severe critic. Advocates for legal reform hear less harsh words from their critics.
Polluted.
Contaminated with harmful or poisonous substances.
Examples:
Polluted air. Cadmium polluted area. The river was polluted with chemicals, causing harm to the wildlife.
Planet.
Any of the 9 large celestial bodies that circle in the solar system, any celestial body that revolves around a star.
Examples:
Planet like the Earth. Save the planet. Mercury is the closest planet to the Sun.
Addiction.
The inability to stop using or doing something as a habit, especially something harmful.
Examples:
Alcohol addiction. Addiction to foreign oil. He is now fighting his addiction to drugs.
Fossil.
Any preserved remains, impression, or trace of any once living thing that has become hard and turned into rock.
Examples:
Burning of fossil fuels. A fossil leaf. It was the fossil of a dinosaur tooth.
Fuel.
A substance that is typically burned to generate heat or energy.
Examples:
Biomass fuel. Smokeless fuel. The manufacturing sector was most severely impacted by the fuel scarcity.
Resident.
A person who lives in a particular place or has their home in a place.
Examples:
A resident of the city. Resident tax. Visa renewal for resident foreigners in this country is once every 5 years.
Coronavirus.
A large family of viruses that can cause illness in humans and animals, which name comes from the crown-like spikes on the surface of the virus, which can be seen under a microscope, and COVID-19 is caused by a specific type of coronavirus known as SARS-CoV-2.
Examples:
Coronavirus antibody test kit. Coronavirus bankruptcy. Considering the situation of coronavirus, organized stopped this year's beer festival.
Lockdown.
An emergency policy for people, communities, or a country to stay where they are, usually due to specific risks, such as COVID-19.
Examples:
Go on lockdown. Lockdown area. The country's prime minister has decided to implement a nationwide lockdown measure.
Ramp.
A sloping surface connecting two levels or inclines, typically used for the movement of people, vehicles, or goods.
Examples:
The ramp of a chasm. An exit ramp. The wheelchair user needed a ramp to access the building's entrance.
Dislocate.
To move out of a position of the bone in a joint, to put out of its usual place, position, or relationship.
Examples:
Dislocate my shoulder. Dislocate residence. X-rays revealed that several of his joints were dislocated.
Poverty.
The condition of being extremely poor.
Examples:
Poverty alleviation. The cycle of poverty. Many studies have investigated the relationship between poverty and academic achievement.
Sacrifice.
The act of killing an animal or person or surrendering a possession as an offering to a deity. Verb, to give up something important or valuable to help another person or get or do something that seems more important.
Examples:
Small sacrifice for a great cause. Sacrifice anything to get ahead. You cannot accomplish great things without a sacrifice of your time or money.
Develop.
To grow or expand, to improve or refine through a process of progress and refinement, often to achieve greater sophistication or complexity, to elaborate or add detail to something that is in the process of being created.
Examples:
Develop a strategy. Develop a skill. We must develop a new system to streamline our workflow and increase efficiency.
Breath.
The air that is taken into and expelled from your lungs. The process of taking into and expelling air from your lungs.
Examples:
Hold your breath. Breath of wind. He bated his breath when talking about this affair.
Historic.
Famous or significant in history, or potentially so.
Examples:
Historic accomplishment. Achieve the historic feat. The Chinese people have accomplished several historic feats.
Opportune.
Suitable or happening at a time that is suitable or convenient for a particular purpose.
Examples:
Opportune occasion. An opportune remark. The phone rang at the most opportune time.
Industrialize.
To organize the production of something into an industry.
Examples:
Industrialized service. Industrialized textile production. The nations of Southeast Asia will quickly industrialize and catch up with the West.
Halfway.
In or at a point midway or an equal distance between 2 points.
Examples:
Halfway through my journey. Halfway decent job. The famous restaurant stands halfway up the hill.
Renew.
To begin or resume something again after an interruption.
Examples:
Renew a contract. Renew its corporate image. I have to renew my passport by the middle of September.
Renewable.
Capable of being renewed, extended, or replaced.
Examples:
Renewable energy. Renewable subscriptions. The production of renewable fuels requires massive volumes of fresh water.
Crisscross.
To move or make lines that intersect or cross each other in a pattern resembling a series of X's.
Examples:
Crisscross over the edges of the walls. Crisscross my heart. The roads crisscrossed through the countryside, creating a beautiful scenic drive.
Bud.
A small swelling on a plant stem or twig containing an undeveloped shoot.
Examples:
Pinch off a bud. Bud grafting. The flower was starting to show its bud and would soon bloom into a beautiful blossom.
Boom.
A sudden increase in economic activity, or a sudden happening that brings good fortune, a deep, loud, and prolonged sound.
Examples:
Boom in sales. A sonic boom. The high-technology industry is enjoying a boom.
Daring.
Brave and taking risks.
Examples:
Daring escape. Make a daring face. Her choices become increasingly daring and creative.
Transition.
The process or period of changing from one state or circumstance to another.
Examples:
Transition phase. Ensure a smooth transition. The nation's healthcare system is in transition at the moment.
Climate.
The weather in a particular location averaged over some long period.
Examples:
A cold climate. Effects of climate change. Climate and weather have an impact on every part of our lifestyles.
Carbon.
A chemical element that can be found in pure form as diamond or graphite, and it is also an essential part of coal and oil and is found in all plants and animals.
Examples:
Carbon dioxide. Carbon emission. Trees absorb carbon dioxide and give off oxygen.
Emission.
The act of production or sending out gas, heat, light, etc.
Examples:
Global emissions of greenhouse gases. The emission of light. There are 5 distinct emissions at 5 unique wavelengths.
Explode.
To burst or break open violently and noisily, to cause something to burst or break open.
Examples:
Explode in anger. Explode in popularity. The old building exploded in a fiery inferno.
Emit.
To give off or send out something such as light, heat, sound, gas, etc.
Examples:
Emit a gamma ray. Emit air pollution. During the unloading, the container box emits a clicking sound.
Luxury.
A state of great comfort or sophistication, mainly provided by expensive and beautiful things.
Examples:
Get into the luxury car market. Luxury hotel. His anti-luxury practices were quite strict.
Rural.
Of or relating to the countryside.
Examples:
Rural accents. People in rural areas. Many rural areas are still impoverished.
Cow.
A domesticated mammal with characteristic features such as a hump, large udders, and curved horns that is raised for its milk or meat.
Examples:
Cowherd. Dairy cow. The farmer milked the cows every morning before breakfast.
Dung.
Solid waste from animals, especially from large animals such as cattle and horses. Verb, to fertilize or dress with animals' excrement.
Examples:
Ball of dung. Dung the land. You can see the horse dung on the country road.
Bioenergy.
Energy derived from biomass materials, such as plants or organic waste, that can be converted into a usable form of heat, electricity, or fuel.
Examples:
Bioenergy potential. Bioenergy plant. Bioenergy production can be achieved through various methods, such as anaerobic digestion and combustion.
Modern.
Of or belonging to the present time or recent times.
Examples:
Modern poetry. Pre-modern agricultural society. Their headquarters are in a modern skyscraper.
Dignify.
To make something worthy of respect or honor, to elevate or give importance to something that may otherwise be considered insignificant.
Examples:
Dignify the role. Dignify the occasion. It's important to dignify other people's opinions and not dismiss them without consideration.
Multiply.
To add a number to itself a specified number of times, to increase or cause to increase very much in number or quantity.
Examples:
Multiply 5 and 6. Multiply about 100-fold. Multiply a number by itself twice.
Hundredfold.
100 times as great or as much.
Examples:
Rise nearly 100-fold. Improve 100-fold. The development
Quadruple.
to consist of 4 items or people, to become 4 times as great or many.
Examples:
Quadruple the amount. Quadruple the price of gold. His stock earnings quadrupled.
Quarter.
One of 4 equal parts, a fourth part or portion.
Examples:
A quarter mile. End of the first quarter. The unemployment rate in the first quarter was 2.3 percentage points higher than in the previous.
Electrify.
To make a machine or system work by using electricity, to make someone extremely enthusiastic about or interested in something.
Examples:
Electrify the audience. Electrify a manufacturing process. The product developed through years of research continues to electrify the market.
Proportion.
A part, share, or amount of something considered in comparative relation to a whole.
Examples:
Direct proportion. A building of vast proportions. He is more concerned about the proportion of his body fat than usual because of an upcoming bodybuilding competition.
Disaster.
An unexpected event or series of events that cause widespread damage, destruction, or loss of life.
Examples:
Global disaster. Disaster recovery. The disaster response team worked around the clock to aid those affected by the earthquake.
Vulnerable.
Capable of being hurt or influenced physically or mentally.
Examples:
A vulnerable bridge. Vulnerable parts of the body. Infants and pregnant women are particularly vulnerable.
Pollution.
The introduction of harmful substances or waste into the natural environment that causes adverse change.
Examples:
Environmental pollution. High levels of air pollution. The pollution is endangering the local plants and animals.
Rapacious.
Aggressively greedy or grasping, often about money or resources, devouring or predacious in nature.
Examples:
Rapacious appetite. Rapacious behavior. The rapacious CEO made millions while exploiting his workers.
Reimagine.
To imagine or conceive of something in a new or different way.
Examples:
Reimagine the future. Reimagine the possibilities. The company is trying to reimagine its business model to stay competitive.
Achieve.
To successfully complete a task or goal, often through hard work, perseverance, and dedication, to attain or accomplish something that one has set out to do.
Examples:
Achieve success. Achieve milestones. I will work hard to achieve my goals and realize my dreams.
Audacious.
Showing a willingness to take bold risks or to do something that is considered unconventional or daring, marked by originality, creativity, or boldness.
Examples:
Audacious stunt. Audacious decision. The young entrepreneur had an audacious plan to start his own company.
Unprecedented.
Never having been seen, done, or known before.
Examples:
Unprecedented boom. Unprecedented business opportunity. Unprecedented amounts of heckling and slogan shouting took place throughout the event.
Replace.
To take the place of something.
Examples:
Replace one word with another. Replace a phone. Eventually, the new design will replace all older models.
Extend.
To broaden in scope, range, or area.
Examples:
Extend the warranty. Extend a line. Her visit will extend from Monday to Friday.
Sector.
A distinct part or division of something, often used to refer to a segment of an economy or industry, an area or field of work or activity.
Examples:
Industrial sector. Private sector. The technology sector is constantly evolving and innovating.
Industrious.
Hardworking, diligent, and persistent in effort.
Examples:
Industrious worker. Industrious student. He was known to be very industrious and would often work late into the night.
Transport.
A system for moving people or products from one location to another using automobiles, roads, and so on.
Examples:
Transport facilities. Access to public transport. Enhanced rail transportation is crucial for our business.
Traditionally.
In accordance with tradition, typically or commonly done in a particular way.
Examples:
Traditionally accepted concept. Traditionally sung at a banquet. Traditionally, the ceremony was held outdoors.
Radical.
Relating to the essential aspects of anything, far beyond the norm, mainly used of opinions and actions.
Examples:
A radical flaw in the plan. A radical cure. The government established by the coup was more radical than before.
Efficient.
Performing at the highest level of productivity with the least wasted effort or resources, capable of achieving maximum output with minimum wasted effort, time, or materials.
Examples:
Efficient operation. Energy efficient appliances. The new washing machine is much more efficient than the old one.
Watt.
A standard unit for measuring electrical power.
Examples:
30-watt light bulb. Watt per square meter. Several hectares of land are needed to generate more than 1 megawatt solar power. Context. The circumstances, facts, or conditions that surround a particular event, situation, or statement and that give it meaning.
Examples:
Historical context. Legal context. It's important to understand the context of a situation before making a decision.
Fortunate.
Having good luck or lucky.
Examples:
Fortunate situation. Less fortunate person. He was pretty fortunate to pass the exam. Bless. To make or pronounce holy, to hallow, to consecrate, to sanctify.
Examples:
Bless him in my heart. Bless you. The priest blessed the couple as they knelt before him.
Abundant.
Present in great quantity.
Examples:
Live an abundant life. An abundant supply of water. The country has abundant oil and natural gas resources. Sunshine. The direct light and heat that comes from the sun.
Examples:
Warm sunshine. Morning sunshine. The sunshine was so bright that I had to wear sunglasses to protect my eyes. Tap. To hit someone or something quickly, gently, and often repeatedly, to use existing resources, such as energy, knowledge, etc. Examples: Tap a new market. Tap keyboard with an index finger. To expand the company, we must tap new human resources. Sunlight. The light emitted by the sun, the rays of the sun. Examples: A glare of sunlight. Indirect sunlight. Radiation from sunlight has a different wavelength. Wasteland. A barren or uncultivated area of land that has been left deserted or uninhabitable, typically due to a natural disaster, pollution, or human destruction. A place or situation that is devoid of life or anything of value.
Examples:
Post-apocalyptic wasteland. Nuclear wasteland. The abandoned industrial site is now a wasteland of decaying buildings and rusted machinery.
Substantial.
Fairly large in size, value, or importance.
Examples:
A substantial amount of capital. Have a substantial meal. The pandemic was a substantial business opportunity for certain companies.
Untapped.
Not yet used or exploited.
Examples:
Untapped market. Untapped potential. The forest held many untapped resources that could be used for commercial purposes.
Offshore.
Situated at or happening in the sea, not far from the shore or land, of winds coming from the land.
Examples:
An offshore oil field. An offshore fund. The company undertakes offshore development for software companies in many countries.
Complement.
To improve or make something more appealing by adding or contributing extra features to it.
Examples:
Complement existing rules. Complement each other. Our application aims to complement the feature of web browsers.
Monsoon.
A seasonal wind system that brings heavy rainfall to a region, typically occurring in tropical areas.
Examples:
Monsoon season. Monsoon current. The monsoon rains often bring relief to areas suffering from drought.
Exciting.
Causing a lot of interest or excitement.
Examples:
Exciting football player. Exciting news. The findings of the experiment were both exciting and unexpected.
Battery.
A device that is placed inside a car, gadget, equipment, etc., and that provides electrical power to them.
Examples:
A dry battery. Battery charging. The engine did not start because the battery was flat.
Dramatically.
In a very impressive manner.
Examples:
He confessed dramatically. The cabin pressure fell dramatically. Life expectancy has grown dramatically this century.
Explosive.
Easily able or likely to shatter violently or burst apart, sudden and loud.
Examples:
Explosive device. An explosive personality. This container stores an explosive substance.
Invest.
To put money, effort, time, etc., into something to make a profit or achieve a result.
Examples:
invest in stocks, invest capital. The government should view children as national assets and actively invest in them.
Urgently.
In a way that requires immediate action or attention, especially before anything else, because of being very important.
Examples:
tackle the problem urgently, urgently required. I need to send this email urgently.
Expand.
To increase or to make something greater in size, number, or importance.
Examples:
expand a lineup, expand agricultural output. They hope to expand their business worldwide.
Grid.
A pattern of regularly spaced horizontal and vertical lines, a system of high-tension cables by which electrical power is distributed throughout a region.
Examples:
a grid design, a wire grid. Grid pattern roads often appear in urban areas.
Massive.
Enormous amount, very heavy and solid.
Examples:
massive amounts, massive stars. The recent economic downturn has resulted in massive layoffs.
Soaked.
Completely wet, saturated or drenched with a liquid.
Examples:
soaked clothes, soaked sponge. The hiker's boots were soaked from walking through the stream.
Desert.
Arid land with little or no vegetation, often covered with sand or rocks.
Examples:
desert basin, oasis in the desert. This region is predominantly desert.
Windy.
Characterized by or affected by strong winds, of or relating to the wind, describing a person who talks a lot, often in an exaggerated way or without saying much substance.
Examples:
windy hillside, windy eloquence. The weather is too windy for us to go on a boat ride.
Rooftop.
The upper surface or cover of a building's roof, often used for recreational or other purposes.
Examples:
rooftop live, rooftop deck. They held the dinner party on the rooftop terrace, enjoying the beautiful view of the city.
Warehouse.
A large building for storing goods and merchandise, especially before they are sold, used, or sent out to shops.
Examples:
a rental warehouse, warehouse debt. The fire ruined all the food stored in the warehouse.
Outskirt.
The part of a town or city away from the center, typically the suburbs, the fringe or border of something.
Examples:
The outskirt of the forest. On the western outskirts. The outskirt of the city was quieter and more peaceful than the busy downtown area.
Sprawl.
To sit, lie, or fall with one's arms and legs spread out.
Examples:
Sprawl out luxuriously on the sofa. Sprawl for acres. The lush vegetation sprawls across the wonderfully landscaped gardens.
Nuclear.
Of or relating to or constituting the nucleus of an atom, deriving destructive energy from the release of atomic energy.
Examples:
Nuclear fusion. Use of nuclear power. Many countries have now agreed to a treaty banning the use of nuclear weapons.
Hydropower.
Electricity generated from the energy of moving water, usually using turbines and dams in rivers or other bodies of water.
Examples:
Hydropower plant. Hydropower energy. Many countries around the world have built dams to harness the power of hydropower for their energy needs.
Essential.
Indispensable, fundamental.
Examples:
Essential amino acid. Essential commodities of life. Trial and error is an essential part of education.
Complexity.
The state or quality of being complicated or intricate and difficult to understand.
Examples:
Cognitive complexity. Complexity theory. The project's complexity made it difficult for the team to complete it on time.
Pricey.
Expensive or costly, having a high price or worth.
Examples:
Pricey hotel. Pricey gift. The restaurant had pricey menu items, but the food was worth it.
Breakneck.
Extremely fast and reckless, dangerous and high speed.
Examples:
Breakneck acceleration. Breakneck pace. She drove at a breakneck speed, despite the dangerous conditions on the road.
Pace.
The speed at which someone or something moves, or the rate at which something happens or changes.
Examples:
At your own pace. The runner's pace. The economy is growing at a supercharged pace.
Strength.
The quality or state of being physically, or sometimes mentally, strong.
Examples:
Strength of the economy. Muscular strength. Health and strength are, above all, gold.
Freight.
Goods or cargo that are transported by land, sea, or air. The transportation of goods or cargo by land, sea, or air.
Examples:
Freight transport. Freight cost. The large freight shipment arrived at the port early in the morning.
Rail.
A long, thin piece of metal or wood that is used to make fences or as a support for something. Verb, to complain bitterly.
Examples:
Rail system. Rail against his enemies. The children leaned over the bridge rail to watch the fish swimming below.
Fleet.
A group of military ships, aircraft, etc., operating together under the same ownership. Adjective, moving very fast.
Examples:
Fleet of foot. A fleet horse. We destroyed a fleet of 70 enemy ships.
Accelerate.
To make something faster or earlier, to cause to develop or progress more quickly.
Examples:
Accelerate a chemical reaction. Accelerate the car. The government tried to accelerate the commercialization of this development.
Adoption.
The action or fact of legally taking another's child as one's own, the act of accepting with approval.
Examples:
Adoption assistance. The adoption of a plan. The adoption process can be long and difficult, but it is worth it for the love of a child.
Scoot.
To move or glide along quickly and smoothly on a surface, especially on a scooter or similar device.
Examples:
Scoot out of my room. Scoot over. I have to scoot over to the next desk because there's not enough room for me to sit comfortably.
Rickshaw.
A light 2- or 3-wheeled passenger carriage, typically pulled by a human runner or cyclist, commonly used in some Asian cities as a mode of transportation.
Examples:
Ride a rickshaw. Traditional rickshaw. In some cities, you can ride a rickshaw for a unique experience.
Handle.
To deal with a situation, problem, or strong emotion.
Examples:
Handle a precious object. Handled the incident. We all should learn how to handle stress.
Influx.
The arrival or entry of a large number of people, objects, or ideas into a place or system.
Examples:
Influx of capital. Influx of tourists. The influx of immigrants into urban areas can create significant social, economic, and political challenges for local communities.
Industrial.
Of or relating to or resulting from industry.
Examples:
Beginning of the Industrial Revolution. Industrial alcohol. Industrial design has become more focused on human nature aspect than ever before.
Process.
A series of actions or operations performed to achieve a particular outcome or goal, A systematic procedure or approach used to accomplish a specific task or objective, a method of treating milk to make it suitable for consumption or use in other dairy products.
Examples:
Process improvement. Decision-making process. The process for applying for a visa can be lengthy and complicated.
Steel.
A strong metal alloy made up of iron with typically a few tenths of a % of carbon used for making things that need a strong structure.
Examples:
Magnetic steel. Steel beam. This bridge is the third largest steel bridge in the world.
Cement.
Make fast as if with cement. Noun, a building material that is a powder made of a mixture of calcined limestone and clay used with water, sand, and small stones to make concrete.
Examples:
Cement a close relationship. Cement blend. They are eager to cement a positive reputation.
Fertilizer.
A natural or chemical substance added to soil to make plants grow more successfully.
Examples:
A chemical fertilizer. Non-synthetic fertilizer. Nitrogen fixation by the Haber-Bosch method leads to the mass production of fertilizers.
Petrochemical.
A chemical compound derived from petroleum or natural gas, used as a raw material in the manufacture of plastics, synthetic fibers, and other products.
Examples:
Petrochemical complex. Petrochemical plant. The town's economy relies heavily on the petrochemical industry.
Equip.
To provide a person or a place with the things that are needed for a particular purpose or activity.
Examples:
Equip an army. Equip our children with some special skills. The construction company equipped the building with an earthquake-resistant device.
Capture.
To catch a person or an animal and confine them in an area which they cannot escape.
Examples:
Capture a glimpse. Capture customers' hearts. I was able to capture the moment on film.
Hydrogen.
The chemical element that is the lightest gas is colorless, odorless, tasteless, and combines with oxygen to form water.
Examples:
Hydrogen gas. Heavy hydrogen. The hydrogen and the oxygen react and then form water.
Surplus.
An amount of something more than what is needed or required, excess or extra supply.
Examples:
Budget surplus. Surplus of exports. The food surplus at the end of the event was donated to a local homeless shelter.
Electrolysis.
A process or technique of chemical decomposition produced by passing an electric current through an ion-containing liquid or solution.
Examples:
Electrolysis apparatus. Copper electrolysis process. The electrolysis of water produces oxygen and hydrogen.
Split.
To divide, or to make something divide into two or more parts, especially along a particular line.
Examples:
Split a bill. Split a reward equally. Companies often split their shares to lower the stock price and encourage investors to buy.
Oxygen.
The chemical element with the symbol O that is present in air and water and is necessary for people, animals, and plants to live.
Examples:
The hydrogen binds the oxygen. Lack of oxygen. The passenger grabbed for the oxygen mask.
Chemical.
Relating to or connected with chemistry.
Examples:
Toxic chemicals. A chemical compound. The firm has grown into a large chemical manufacturing.
Fin.
A thin flat part on the body of a fish or other aquatic animal used for propulsion or balance.
Examples:
Back fin. A fin of a plane. The shark's powerful fins allowed it to swim at high speeds.
Improve.
To make or become better.
Examples:
Improve a process. Improve the test score. We want to improve ties between our two countries.
Efficiency.
The state or quality of doing something well with no waste of input such as time or money.
Examples:
Better fuel efficiency. An energy efficiency. Our company must continue to strive for greater efficiency.
Stitch.
One of the tiny thread lines visible on a piece of fabric after it has been sewn.
Examples:
A stitch in a garment. Pattern stitch. The wound was so deep that it needed a surgical procedure and stitches.
Voracious.
Having a very strong appetite or desire for something, especially for food or activity, extremely eager or enthusiastic for something.
Examples:
Voracious thirst. Voracious reader. The voracious appetite of the teenager was legendary.
Gap.
A conspicuous disparity or difference separates something such as a figure, people, their opinions, situation, etc.
Examples:
The gap between ideal and reality. Distance gap. Many people are working together to close the gender gap.
Pollute.
To make an area or substance, such as land, air, water, etc., dirty or harmful to living things, by adding waste matter or harmful chemicals.
Examples:
Pollute the air. Pollute the thread. We should do our best not to pollute the environment.
Crazy.
Stupid or not sensible, very angry.
Examples:
Crazy about cars and racing. A crazy scheme. The rain and thunder are crazy today.
Statistics.
The discipline that concerns the collection, organization, analysis, interpretation, and presentation of data.
Examples:
Statistics for cancer. Official statistics. The statistics demonstrate that poverty and unemployment are genuine problems.
Insane.
Extremely stupid, crazy, or dangerous, mentally ill.
Examples:
Go insane with pleasure. An insane scheme. Her excessive demands drove me insane.
Humid.
Having a high amount of moisture or water vapor in the air, damp, muggy.
Examples:
Humid climate. Uncomfortably humid. The air was so humid that my clothes felt damp.
Peak.
The point to which something or someone is at its strongest, best, or most successful, the pointed top of a mountain.
Examples:
At peak hour. The peak current in the circuit. This measurement aims to reduce traffic at peak periods.
Sweat.
The salty liquid that is produced by the glands in the skin, especially when the body is hot or under stress.
Examples:
All in a sweat. Sweat bath. She wiped the sweat off her forehead with a towel.
Aspiration.
A strong desire to achieve something, the action or process of drawing breath.
Examples:
No aspiration for fame. Aspiration into the lungs. He has an aspiration to become a doctor.
Advantage.
A condition or circumstance that puts one in a favorable or superior position, a beneficial feature or asset that someone or something has.
Examples:
Score an advantage. Take advantage of his weak points. One of the main advantages of the new product is its increased efficiency.
Largely.
Virtually entirely, to a large degree.
Examples:
Largely accepted. Largely mitigate the issue. Nevada is largely a desert state.
Slate.
A flat piece of rock or stone that is typically used as a roofing or flooring material. A list of candidates for an election arranged in a specific order.
Examples:
Slate tile. Slate roof. We need to add more names to the slate of candidates for the upcoming election.
Incredible.
Unbelievable, extremely large.
Examples:
Incredible amount. At incredible speed. Her response revealed incredible idiocy.
Infrastructure.
The basic systems, services, or features that are necessary for an organization or country, such as transport and power supplies.
Examples:
IT infrastructure. Infrastructure cost. Aging societies tend to require huge costs for infrastructure maintenance.
Enact.
To make a law, to put something into practice.
Examples:
Enact new legislation. Enact the smoking ban. The government enacted this law in 1925.
Stringent.
Strict, severe, or demanding, requiring close attention to rules or regulations, extreme or excessive in some way.
Examples:
Stringent measures. Stringent requirements. The school has a stringent attendance policy that allows for no more than 3 absences per semester.
Warn.
To make someone aware of potential danger or difficulty, particularly one that may occur in the future.
Examples:
Warn a reckless driver. Warned me of the plan. I attempted to warn him, but he ignored me.
Sputter.
To emit or make a series of explosive popping or spitting sounds. To speak quickly or in a confused or agitated manner. To work or operate in an erratic or uneven manner.
Examples:
Sputter into silence. Sputter due to lack of fuel. The car's engine began to sputter as it ran out of gas.
Sharply.
Suddenly and to a great degree, in an aggressive manner.
Examples:
Sharply questioned. Drop sharply. The value of our house rose sharply last year.
Loom.
To appear or take shape as a large, especially in a frightening way.
Examples:
Loom over the global economy. Loom on the horizon. The issue of divorce loomed large in his mind.
Distribute.
To give something to a large number of individuals, or to spread or furnish something.
Examples:
Distribute wealth evenly. Distribute video content. His estate was distributed to his sons.
Utility.
The state or quality of being useful or convenient, the service, such as electric power or water or transportation, provided by a public.
Examples:
Utility costs. Marginal utility. The utility of the device was immediately apparent to all who saw it.
Mismanage.
To organize or control something badly, improperly, or unskillfully.
Examples:
Mismanage a crisis. Mismanage the needs. The funds were mismanaged for years.
Economical.
Providing a satisfactory return on the money, time, or effort, not using more money, fuel, etc. than necessary.
Examples:
Economical use of her time. An economical meal. It is more economical to wash your plastic bottle and reuse it.
Fragile.
Delicate or easily broken or damaged.
Examples:
Politically fragile nation. Fragile ecosystem. The vase was made of fragile ceramic and easily broke when it was dropped.
Subsidize.
To pay part of the cost of something to support an organization, activity, etc. financially.
Examples:
Subsidize the project. Subsidize the cost. Governments subsidize renewable energy generation in various ways.
Residential.
Relating to, suitable for, or used for living in.
Examples:
A residential district. Residential property. The city's residential area is known for its quiet streets and beautiful homes.
Reform.
The act of improving or correcting something wrong or bad. Verb, to make a change in something to correct a flaw or improve it.
Examples:
Economic reform. Reform movement. The government is proposing a reform to the healthcare system to make it more accessible and affordable for all citizens.
Efficiently.
In a way that produces maximum output with minimum effort or expense.
Examples:
Efficiently combined. Develop software more efficiently. We can resolve support requests quickly and efficiently by utilization of AI.
Overhaul.
A thorough examination, evaluation, or inspection of something, often with the intent of making necessary improvements, a major reorganization or restructuring of a system or process. Verb, to thoroughly examine, repair, and improve something to ensure that it is functioning properly and up to standard.
Examples:
Overhaul process. Vehicle overhaul. The mechanic suggested an overhaul of the engine to improve performance.
Profitable.
Making or likely to make material gain or profit.
Examples:
A profitable job. Profitable trade. The Prohibition Amendment made bootlegging profitable.
Trillion.
The number 1 trillion, a million million.
Examples:
Trillion cubic feet. Many trillions of dollars. 1 light year is nearly 6 trillion miles.
Finance.
The management of money, credit, banking, and investments, especially by a government or commercial organization, the branch of economics that studies the management of money and other assets.
Examples:
Finance Act. Manage my finances. Our company decided to hire an advisor who specializes in finance.
Stall.
To stop or cause to stop making progress. Noun, small area or booth set off for the sale of goods in a market or large covered area.
Examples:
Stall at sea. Stall in a tunnel. The negotiations proceeded slowly and finally stalled.
Improvisation.
The act of making something up on the spot or creating or performing something without preparation.
Examples:
Improvisation on stage. Jazz improvisation. He created a beautiful piece of music using only improvisation.
Cultivate.
To prepare and foster land for growing crops or plants.
Examples:
Cultivate a field. Cultivate relationships. University is a great place to cultivate our minds and expertise.
Advance.
To go or move forward, to develop in a positive way.
Examples:
Advance the technology. Advance a cooperative relationship. Scientific knowledge will advance significantly with the power of AI.
Manufacture.
To make goods in large numbers, usually in a factory using machines.
Examples:
Manufacture an enzyme. Manufacture a product. The majority of synthetic vitamins are manufactured from oil.
Export.
To send goods or services to another country for sale. To transfer electronic data out of a database or document in a format that other programs can use.
Examples:
Export goods. Export the data. The country exports a large amount of agricultural products.
Digital.
Processing or storing information as a succession of 1 and 0 to show that a signal is present or missing, relating to the use of computer technology, especially the Internet.
Examples:
A digital watch. Digital electronic signature. Sensors convert physical phenomena into digital signals.
Innovation.
The creation of a new device or process resulting from study and experimentation.
Examples:
Innovation leader. Cutting-edge innovation. The vegetarian burger was an innovation that quickly spread to the United Kingdom.
Affordable.
Not expensive and able to pay.
Examples:
Affordable housing. Affordable solution. The automaker has been providing affordable car financing options since last year.
Procure.
To obtain, acquire, or secure something, often by effort or skill.
Examples:
Procure a rare antique. Procure services. I need to procure some supplies for the upcoming project.
Demonstrate.
To display something or give an exhibition to an interested audience.
Examples:
Demonstrate a difference. Demonstrate mastery. How can you demonstrate that the Earth is a sphere?
Duration.
The length of time something lasts or continues.
Examples:
The duration of insurance. Short duration. The military incarcerated him for the duration of the war.
Storage.
The act or process of putting in and keeping something in a particular place for use in the future, an electronic memory device that can store information.
Examples:
A storage battery. Storage at low temperature. We store customer data in cloud storage.
Deforest.
To clear an area of forest or trees.
Examples:
Deforest a mountain. Deforest millions of acres. The company planned to deforest a large rainforest area to make way for a new plantation.
Preserve.
To keep or maintain a particular quality, feature, etc., especially to prevent it from decaying, being damaged, or being destroyed.
Examples:
Preserve my strength. Preserve a country's heritage. They worked hard to preserve the nature of their native lands.
Underneath.
Under or below something else.
Examples:
Underneath the surface of the water. Underneath the laughter. The penny fell underneath the piano.
Wit.
The ability to say or write things or ideas in a clever and humorous way.
Examples:
The wit of man. Full of wit. He has the wit to keep talking about this topic.
Destruction.
The act of causing so much damage to something.
Examples:
Path of destruction. Cyclonic destruction. The extinction of several subspecies has been linked to climate change and habitat destruction.
First-hand.
From the source, directly, adjective, received directly from a source.
Examples:
Hear customers' voices firsthand. Conduct first-hand research. The manager tried to hear customers' voices firsthand.
Sweep.
To clean something, especially a floor or an area, by using a broom, move swiftly and smoothly.
Examples:
Sweep up dead leaves. Sweep a room with a glance. The politician tried to sweep the embarrassing incident under the rug.
Gape.
An act of opening the mouth wide, often as a sign of surprise, wonder, or boredom, a wide opening or gap in something, especially in a physical object or landscape. Verb, to open one's mouth wide, often as a result of surprise, shock, or amazement.
Examples:
Gape in amazement. Bird's gape. The gape of the Grand Canyon is an awe-inspiring sight.
Construct.
To build or create something, to assemble or combine different parts to form something whole.
Examples:
Construct a 3D image. Construct a dam. He constructs hypotheses that no mathematician has ever imagined before.
Crew.
A group of people who work together, especially on a ship or airplane.
Examples:
The film crew. The crew of a fishing boat. The ship's crew worked hard to repair the damaged sails before the next storm hit.
Hoist.
To elevate or drag anything to a higher position, usually with the help of ropes or specific equipment.
Examples:
Hoist the flags. Hoist the anchor. The patient was hoisted onto the operation table.
Nacelle.
A protective housing or structure for a machine or equipment, especially the engine of an aircraft or the generator of a wind turbine.
Examples:
Wind turbine nacelle. Nacelle cover. The airplane's nacelle had to be replaced after it was damaged in a storm.
Atop.
On, to, or at the top.
Examples:
Stand atop. Sit atop a stack of books. The eagle perched atop the tallest tree in the forest.
Tower.
A structure that is exceptionally high in proportion to its width and either forms part of a building or stands alone.
Examples:
A bell tower. The tower on a cliff. She is a tower of strength for our team in trouble.
Turbine.
A machine that rotates to generate power from fluids such as water or gas.
Examples:
Turbine energy. Turbine airfoil. The wind turbines were spinning rapidly, generating clean energy for the nearby town.
Blade.
The flat part of a knife, weapon, or machine with a very thin edge used for cutting.
Examples:
A blade of grass. The blade of a turbine. The blade of the katana itself is still in excellent condition.
Prosperous.
Successful financially or materially, bringing success or good fortune.
Examples:
Prosperous weather. Prosperous nation. The company decided to invest in a prosperous industry.
Hasten.
To move or act quickly, to cause or encourage something to happen sooner or more rapidly, to accelerate or speed up.
Examples:
Hasten the process. Hasten the arrival. I need to hasten my speed to finish the race on time.
Ravage.
To cause damage to something badly.
Examples:
Ravage a country. Ravage the brain. A large fire ravaged the forest.
Endanger.
To put someone or something in a risky situation.
Examples:
Endanger my health. Endanger a close relationship. Their actions endangered the lives of innocent people.